Steve Jewin, MMA Mania. How's it going
How's it
today?
going? Pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad. This is the first fight, this fight with Daniel Weichel, the first time since 2011 where you haven't been fighting for a title or defending the title. So is it a little odd for you knowing that there's no strap on the line this time?
It's funny that you say that because I didn't even realize that. That's very true though. I'm still looking at this fight as a championship fight. Every fight from this point on in my career has to be. I have to have that mindset going into it. But it's also kind of relaxing, or not so much relaxing, but it takes a little bit of pressure off. Knowing that it's not for a title and it's not a 5 round fight. So training can be switched up just a little bit. I don't have to push it as hard, and I'm not worried about injuring myself. Leading into a championship fight, because you always have to put that extra work in, that extra drive, that extra push in the gym, and my luck, I usually get injured. So, but no, it's kind of a relief knowing the fact I'm going in for a 3 round fight against a new opponent, a very dangerous opponent, and I'm very excited. It's going to be a good one to watch.
Yeah, he is very dangerous because he's only lost one of his last 12 fights and he's won every fight in Bellator so far. So obviously you're taking Weichel very seriously.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, every fight in my career in this part of my life right now is I have to have like a championship mindset. And, it's do or die, it's a very cutthroat industry. One or two losses could really, break a fighter and just, it could ruin my career. So, I'm not putting any extra pressure on. I'm having a lot of fun in the gym. I'm very confident in my skill set, and, mentally I'm just more than ready to, step in the Bellator cage and, go back to what I'm good at, and just go back to work and, get another, W under my belt.
Yeah, and you mentioned the injury bug that sometimes bites, and I think you must be feeling pretty good right now also knowing that you're a week out from the fight.
It's actually, the last 3 weeks leading into the fight, that's when I really pick it up. So, and then the week of the fight is usually just kind of maintaining, keeping everything on point, losing the weight, focusing on your diet, and just really getting like the distance runs in. So training is going to change up here after this week once we get out to California and once we get settled in, out there in Fresno, kind of switch gears a little bit. But yeah, the last 2 weeks before fight week is when you really want to pick it up and push yourself. And that's typically when I get injured. But this time I'm injury free. I have no stress worrying about that, and I'm 100% ready to go.
I think that's an interesting philosophy actually, because a lot of the fighters I've talked to say that, the week of the fight, they're not even going to train at all. They're not going to spar. They're just going to relax and get ready for the fight knowing that they've put in their hard camp up to the week before the fight.
Well, you can only relax after the fight. If you want to be successful in this business, you got to make sure everything's on point. And maybe that's just me. I'm an overthinker, and I critique myself a lot. But you have to be on point. And the last week, the week of the fight, you want to focus on your weight and kind of relax, but at the same time, make sure your hands are striking, your grappling, everything's on point, and you're ready to go into the fight, 100%. But everybody has their own strategy. Everyone has their own way of doing things, and that's just kind of what we developed over the last actually over all the time I put in at Team Curran.
Yeah, well, you've mentioned the weight a couple of times, so of course I have to ask, what are you walking around at right now?
Not too bad, that extra pound allowance. That's another thing. Not being a championship fight, I get one more pound allowance, which goes a long way.
True.
But I'm like say 13 pounds, 12 pounds over. I'm really lean right now. I'm taking my diet very serious. I'm taking this fight very serious, and like I said, I'm ready to go. So I'm really not that far away. I'm after training, I'm like mid to upper 50s, so 57, 58, 158. So it's not that bad. But the week of the fight, that's really when you want to get the water weight off, cut the sodium out, get your distance running in, get all the body fat if you can off you, and then, just sauna it out or hot tub it, however way you want to, do the weight cut. But yeah, like I said, I'm feeling great, and everything's 100% right now.
Going back to your previous fights, the two title fights that you've lost, they both went to decision. You weren't finished in either fight. So how close do you feel those fights were to you being like the undefeated champion for the last 4 years?
The last couple fights were very close. The one with Tipple, the one I do remember is, I did get rocked a handful of times and did get dropped, but but my mentality as a fighter is never give up. I like to think I have a heart of a champion, and you always have that one punch that can knock the guy out or just finish the fight. So even though I got rocked, I'm down on the scorecard. I will never give up. I'm going to keep pushing, keep going after it. And I know a lot of guys, everyone thinks differently, but I will never give up in a fight.
Well, it's getting to be kind of epic between you and Patricia Ferrari, because you're 1-1 in 2 fights with him now, and now he's the champion. So, assuming things go well with Daniel Weichel, do you want to go right back after him and try to get the title back and, win the rubber match with him?
Well, I mean, of course, I'd love to get the rematch, but, that's all up to Bellator. I'm kind of enjoying the fact not having the belt, not having the stress or worry, and, I'm just kind of, getting things back together in my life and just focusing on that. And, and really everything is falling into place right now. But I will, for a fact, get my rematch with Pitbull. I'm very motivated and determined to make that happen. It's only a matter of time. If I go in there and I say I knock out Daniel right away, if Bellator is ready, I'm ready to do the rematch. But it's really their call, and we'll kind of go from there. But I definitely want that rematch. I'm very motivated and determined to get it. And I'm not looking past Daniel at all. I don't like to look past my opponents ahead of me. So I just take it one fight at a time. But Daniel's just the one step, that stepping stone to get me that one step closer to Pitbull or the champ.
What do you think is the biggest challenge of Weichel? Where do you rate him as like the best, or that would give you the most trouble in the fight?
He's a very durable fighter, and has a lot of experience, and I know I have a lot of experience as a fighter, but, he's actually has a lot more experience than me, a lot more fights. And, when he goes for these submissions that I've been noticing, he goes 100% and he will try to finish you. And he's in shape. He can go 100% for a choke and not worry about, gassing out in a fight. So I know he's well conditioned. He's, very dangerous on the ground, and, we're prepared for that. And he's overall just a very tough, very good fighter. He's a complete MMA fighter. So, when it comes down to it, the best man's going to win.
So you think the focus then would be to just stuff his takedowns and keep him from getting your back or getting on the ground with you? Because, like you said, 21 of his 34 wins are by submission. So, yeah, I agree with you that he's really dangerous in that area. Yep.
I mean, like I said, he goes 100% for those submissions. But, it's also a fight. I'm very comfortable, being on my back or being on top, and my game plan, my strategy might just try to be to take him down and play that jiu-jitsu game with him, or it's just really, it's a fight. You got to just kind of react on the moment, and I'm prepared to go any portion of this fight, any part of this fight. I'm ready to go to the ground, keep it standing. It doesn't matter. Like I'm a very well-rounded mixed martial artist, and I trust my instincts and my coaching and my team. Like I said, we're ready. We're ready to do this.
Well, you say he's well-rounded, and you say you're well-rounded. I think I even rate you a little more well-rounded than Weichel, because you're about evenly split between knockout, submissions, and decisions. It seems that any way you can win the fight, it's going to present itself to you, and you'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be. In this sport, you have to be well-rounded in every part of this game. So that's why, I came from a wrestling background, and I started jiu-jitsu, and I started learning, Muay Thai and kickboxing, and now I fell in love with boxing. So, you gotta be well-rounded in every aspect, because every opponent's different, and everyone brings their own unique, I guess, attribute to the game, and you want to be ready to prepare for it. So you can prepare ahead of time, you can game plan for it, and with Daniel being a grappler, maybe I want to keep it standing and just work my strike and my boxing, my angles, or, maybe I'll switch it up. I mean, it's really hard to tell.
Now, I have a question out of curiosity. Your cousin, Jeff Curran, we haven't seen him fight in a couple of years. I think he was supposed to fight for Titan in 2014. I don't believe that ever took place. Is he retired now?
He was struggling with going back and forth, either with retirement and, focusing on his gym and his family, and the guy, he puts so much on his plate, and sometimes it gets overwhelming for him. But, he's a fighter at heart. He loves the sport, and he is making his return. He's fighting in, I believe, RFA a couple days or a couple weeks after my fight. So we're both training together each day and pushing each other, and he's looking great. He's ready for this fight. Physically and mentally, he's ready to go. So he's coming out of retirement, and he's looking to make his return.
Well, I apologize for not knowing he had an RFA fight coming up. I didn't even have that on my docket of upcoming fights, so something to look forward to. I assume that'll be on Access TV.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, but of course your fight coming up on February 13th at Save Mart Center in Fresno, you'll be on the main televised portion for Spike TV, so it's a familiar role for you. I assume at this point you don't feel any pressure from being on TV because you always seem to be in the main event or co-main event every time there's a big Spike card.
Yeah, honestly, this is like the most relaxed and calm going into a fight, into a camp. I mean, I'm not worried. I used to get caught up in, being on TV and just not really used to it. But, the more you get used to it, the more you're around it, you kind of just, it is what it is. It's part of the job, and, I accept that. So to me, it's just, another day in the office. I want to go back to work, just do what I'm good at, do what I'm meant to do. And, at the end of the day, just kind of look back and just sit back and, just hope for the best,
Do you ever stop and wonder about how much the featherweight title seems to circulate between two or three people? It's either you, Strauss, or Ferrari. It seems like there's a round robin almost in the Bellator featherweight division.
Yeah, they are, like I said, Strauss and Pitbull are two very talented fighters, and including myself in the mix. I believe we are it's going to be in between us three, and not excluding everybody else out, but there are a lot of talented fighters coming up in the division. But as of right now, Pitbull and Strauss just recently fought, and Pitbull, was able to get a rear naked choke on him, and that just seems there's a little bit of hole. There's a bit of a hole in Daniel's game, which I'm sure he's going to go back and correct. And once he gets that fixed, he's going to be a whole other animal. But as of right now, yeah, I mean, Pitbull has a belt. Just defended, beat Strauss, and now I'm looking to make my return and get a rematch. But I got to get past Daniel Wetzel first, so I can't look past my opponent at hand. He's a very dangerous fighter, and I respect his abilities to finish me, and if not, win the decision.
Well, we're looking forward to that fight, and I know you'll go out there and give it 110% like you always do. So it's going to be an exciting bout on February 13th at the Save Mart Center in Fresno, California. So in closing, Pat, I want to give you this chance to plug your sponsors, teammates, social media, anything that you'd like to mention.
Of course. Yeah, I'd love to thank my Team Curran. My head coach is Jeff Curran, head coach Doug Mango, and my sponsorships, Coup de Gras Gear, Alienware, Banner Nutrition, Brian Butler with Sucker Punch. He's been supportive, had my back since the beginning. He's done a lot for me, and I really appreciate that. One of the best managers in the business. And, just Team Curran. I love you guys.
All right.
And also Bellator. Can't forget Bellator. Bellator has made my dreams come true, and has done everything for me, and has my back from the beginning. And, I couldn't have done this without their support.
Yeah, well, you've been there, it seems like, since the beginning, at least going back to 2010. You've been a mainstay at Bellator, and I think you'll continue to be so for a long time to come. So, Pat, good luck next weekend.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, have a good fight next weekend. We'll
Thank
be
you very
looking forward
much.
to it. Yep, have a great day.
You too. Bye.
All right, thanks.